Okay, I am tired of my audio doing this. This is retarded. The microphone keeps switching to the headset, which has no microphone connected to it. Anyway, guys, welcome to the E Proxy podcast. You're live with E Proxy. And I'm tired of my volume turning up. This is retarded. This is not working anyway. All right, Pablo, go ahead and give me a call, man. Oh, man. I'm going to unplug this because there's no reason to have it sitting on this docking station right now because I'm not going to be playing any games. Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, this is New China Garden 3.
All right, what's going on?
Down for triple order. Beefalo Maine.
Oh,
Can you
Pablo.
order?
All right, guys, we're here live with Pablo right now. He's joining us on the podcast. All right. So, man, you know what? I've been sitting here. I was going over everything that's just going on in the news today, and I came across something that I actually texted you about not long ago. Ask me what that is, Pablo.
Let's see, it was the Kathy Griffin thing, wasn't it?
You know what? You were very right. We're going to talk about Kathy Griffin. First of all, that's why I'm kind of wearing this hat. That's why I'm wearing these glasses. Because I want to wear these glasses. I look pretty damn sexy in these glasses. And because America. All right, my hat says America. We're in America. Think about this. Yes, it says America. If any of us did what Kathy Griffin did, we would be in prison right now because she did something completely illegal. She got away with it simply because she's famous. We're not famous, so we can't get away with that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and take this hat off and then put the E Proxy merchandise hat on. Hold on one second. Pablo, go ahead and give me your take on what Kathy Griffin did. Tell me what you think about it while I'm changing hats. Let the people know. They're listening to you right now. You're live.
Well, in case nobody knows what we're talking about, what Kathy Griffin did basically was just take a picture of herself with a bloody Trump mask. Now, I'm not condoning that behavior. I'm not saying what she did was socially acceptable. I feel like if anybody did that with the President Barack Obama mask, they'd be instantly labeled a racist, and the liberal media would be calling for their heads and their throats to be slit and all of this stuff.
Exactly.
That being said, since she's a comedian, as much as a comedian as a woman can be, I guess, I do think she has some free range, or she definitely gets a little bit more slack than somebody who's not in the comedy profession. You know, you can relate this kind of to Bill Burr and his podcast and how he talks and all these things. In my personal opinion, I think comedy has free range over everything. I don't think there's anything that you can't joke about. Absolutely nothing. I think people should be able to make jokes about cancer, abortion, suicide. Humor is a universal language and should be treated as such. Just because you personally don't find something funny doesn't mean the rest of the world doesn't find it funny. Humor is subjective. So I can definitely see how she was in the wrong for doing this, being a pretty big Trump supporter myself. But at the same time, I also see how she's in the right for this because, you know, this is America. We do have the freedoms, the liberties to say these things, do these things, take these pictures. We're allowed to have these ideas and these feelings because we live in the greatest country in the world, in my personal opinion, but there's absolutely no statistics to back that up. But, yeah, I can see where you're coming from when you say these things are wrong. But at the same time, you know, she's allowed to do it because of her God-given American rights.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me put my headphones on and I'm going to get into this, okay, man?
All right.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let me pull up a picture of a screenshot that I pulled up from Twitter, actually. All right, this is actually from Anderson Cooper. For the record, I am appalled by the photo shoot Kathy Griffin took part in. It is clearly disgusting and completely inappropriate. Now, that was from Anderson Cooper on Twitter earlier. It was retweeted by Keemstar. Keemstar, you're awesome, by the way. Okay, first of all, I understand exactly where you're coming from, Pablo, okay? Comedians have more rights than we do, obviously. I mean, that doesn't give them the right to do something that we're not allowed to do. Think about this, man. We as normal people, not comedians, don't have the right to do that. If we did something like that, we'd more than likely be put on a watch list. Okay, and then we'd probably be killed. That's usually how it works. That's how everything happens nowadays. Just because Kathy Griffin is a comedian doesn't give her the right to do something that we're not allowed to do, or get away with something we're not allowed to get away with. Of course, she gets more rights than us. I mean, she's a woman. She's trying to, go, more for the feminist, if you will. I'm going to say that, and I don't care. Okay, this is a podcast, and I'll say whatever the hell I want to on it. But it's just not right. It's not fair that she's, still out there doing whatever she's doing. Yes, she apologized for it. She made a video on Twitter apologizing for it, but she shouldn't have done it in the first place. That's just my opinion. Pablo, go ahead and say some more stuff about this if you have anything else to say about it. If not, we'll go on to something else.
Well, I definitely do have some things to say about this.
Let's hear it, Ben.
But, it's kind of like, how can I put this? I guess, since she's in such a position of, I don't know what her exact Twitter following is, but we just got done with the conversation about how big social media is and all the influence and everything. I personally don't think I have heard of Kathy Griffin, or if I have not heard of her or about her in a long time until this whole Trump thing. But the whole thing that's going on with this is, it reminds me a lot. I think it was, who was it? Was it Cher who was calling for Trump's head in the, I think it was right after he won the election. It was some big famous singer who happened to be a woman who was saying she has had many thoughts of blowing up the White House because Trump got elected.
Wow.
Trump got elected. Yeah. God, who was that? Was it Cher, Madonna? I think it was Madonna.
Really?
Yeah, it was definitely Madonna. And, well, nobody really called for her. Yeah, it was Madonna. Nobody really called for her head on his stick.
Why?
But I think that comes back to the whole, it comes back to what I call the liberal army.
Okay.
Where you have the social justice warriors, and you have all these people who think they're doing something, but really they're just getting on everybody's nerves. That's the beauty about America. It's a place for opportunity. Now, granted, everybody doesn't start out equal, but everybody has the equal amount of opportunities. Now, if you grow up in the slums or the ghetto or Section 8 project housing, now, granted, you're not set off. You're not starting out as good as, somebody who's in the upper middle class, born in the suburbs, private schools, all the way to high school. But you have same opportunities. Now, he may have, his first job may be an opportunity as an internship in a bank. Well, you don't have that same opportunity as the internship in the bank, but you do have the opportunity to get a job. That's why we call it equal job opportunity, not equal jobs. So you could get your first job, you could save up money, you could go to school. There's equal job opportunity for that, but a lot of the liberals and a lot of the left doesn't believe in that. They want everything handed to them on a silver platter, white privilege, which I don't really understand what white privilege is. I got groceries earlier today, and I was checking out. The lady said we'd be paying with cash or credit, but there's this isn't covered by my white privilege? I mean, what does white privilege get me at this point? Does it get me free movie tickets on Tuesday? Is it like 10 cents off at the gas pump? Do I get, a discount on my phone bill? At this point, all white privilege is getting me is it's getting me a lack of scholarships for being white that a lot of minorities have. It's giving me a disadvantage for things like the SAT. Fun fact, if you're black, I'm not going to call you African American. You can be a black American or just an American, but to me you're not an African American unless you came here from Africa this generation, and not your parents. You came here. That's the correct term. Asian American. If you came here from Chinese American, you came here from China. That's what I'm going to call you, a Chinese American. But you're just an American. If you don't want to be an American specifically, you can be a black American. They have, I think it was the University of Princeton, and a lot of Ivy League schools, even schools as Georgia College, Georgia Military College, shit like that. They are allowed to score, I think it's 200 to 400 points lower on the SAT than a white American. A white American is score is, say you get a 1400 or 1200. Yeah, say you get a 1200 on the SAT for a white American. That's your score at 1200. Black American can score 400 less and 200 to 400 less, and they still would count that as a 1200 for most schools. But an Asian American has to score 250 to 300 points above the white American to be accepted into the same school. So I don't see where the whole white privilege comes from. If anything, it's black privilege. But that's the whole leftist argument of why Madonna's head wasn't called, because she supports these things. She's got a lot of followers, the social justice warriors.
Okay,
but
so
if that Trump thing was in a different context, I could see how maybe it wouldn't have been as big of a deal. She was doing a stand-up tour, and she happened to pull it out for prop comedy, like, a Carrot Top. But the fact that she did this on Twitter blew it way out of proportion, and I don't think she knew she was going to get as much negative feedback as she did, but that's the consequences she's going to have to deal with.
okay, so you're saying that what Madonna did didn't really matter simply because she's white, correct?
No. She's a woman.
Well, yeah. Okay, well, I mean, I can kind of understand that because, you had Hillary Clinton running as president, and you had her trying to have women supporting her. So maybe that's why Madonna didn't get that, because she's white and she's a woman, and because you're, talking about white privilege. And, I guess white privilege would go more towards women simply because of the Hillary Clinton Act, correct?
Well, I don't know if you would call that white privilege. It's definitely woman privilege.
Woman privilege, white privilege.
Women have a lot more privileges in America than their male counterparts.
Okay, so are you saying that black women have less privileges than white women?
No, they definitely have more privileges.
Why is
because
that?
They have access to the African American scholarships, the technical term. They can get the black scholarships. There's grants, and there's actual physical loans for housing subsidies targeted specifically for minorities that only minorities qualify for.
Okay, let's go back for a second, then we'll talk about something else. For those of you who don't know who Kathy Griffin is, she has 2 million followers on Twitter. 3 hours ago, she posted a video apologizing for what she has done. I think to myself, if she didn't feel bad about that, and if she knew she wouldn't get in trouble for it, or if she didn't know anything about it, she wouldn't have posted an apology video. Her fault, she's in the wrong, whatever. Next topic. All right, let's see. Let's go back to what you were talking about black privilege, white privilege, so on and so forth. Let me hear what else you got to say about that. I'm pretty sure that my listeners have, they want to hear about this. They want to know what you got to say about it. So go. You're on live.
Well, give me a specific instance you want to talk about.
Well, let's go back to the whole white women, black women thing. You were saying that black women have more privileges because of more scholarships. What kind of scholarships would give more black women more privileges than white women? And so let's say the same thing for black men versus white men, or white men versus black men. Are there different scholarships for black men than there are white men, or is it the other way around? Let me hear that.
Okay, well, just off the bat, there's things like the Martin Luther King Jr. Scholarship Award, the Herman J. Neal Scholarship, the APA Judith McManus Prize Scholarship. There's millions of dollars in black minority scholarships that go out, and I don't have an exact percentage to quote you on this. I mean, I feel a little unprepared, but you can go to the Census Bureau and look this up. There's more scholarships targeted towards race for minorities. That's just a fact. no white people only scholarship. It's not a thing. If there was, I would have applied for it. Probably wouldn't have gotten it, but I would definitely appreciate it if there was. It's not a thing because they would be labeled racist. You got this whole thing where only white people can be racist in modern society. And then if anything else is called reverse racism, well, it shouldn't be called reverse racism. It should still be called racism, because you feel like one race is beneath you, or you feel you're superior to one race, or you're just dealing with stereotypes and injustices and all this. Now, when it comes down to men and women, I don't think the wage gap is real. I don't see any physical evidence to support that. I've worked many jobs. I've worked many jobs with women, and I find my female counterparts make just as much, if not a little bit more than what I made at the end of the week. Now, granted, we weren't doing the exact same work, but there are a lot of jobs that men do that women can't do.
Okay, and that's what I was about to ask you. That's what I was about to ask you too. Go ahead into detail. Okay, so I'm going to interrupt you for a second. First of all, let me go ahead and give a shout out to G Fuel right here. If you've never tried G Fuel, go ahead and try that right now. Go and order it. gfuel.com. They have 17 different flavors. 17. You can get one tub with 3 packets to go in, 3 different bottles. Great stuff. Check that out. Okay, so back to what we were saying. I was gonna go into a question and ask you. Let's talk about this, man. Women.
What is going on in your live chat, man?
I'm honestly, it's you, man. You're going on in my live chat.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, let's talk about this, man. Jobs and women and men. Go ahead and name off some of the stuff you think that kind of make this happen. Why do you think there is this, equal opportunity at work with women thing? What do you think made that happen? And I mean, I honestly think there are some things that men can do that women can't do, and so on and so forth. There are some things men can't do that women can do. So give me your take on that. Let the people know what you think about it, man.
Well, definitely with the first big rights movement that happened in the early 1900s, Susan B. Anthony and all that, that definitely, I think that was labeled as the first wave feminism. The second wave feminism, what really got women into the workplace, especially with World War II when they were taking over the factory jobs, gave women a chance to prove that they could do these things. They can do what a man can do, if not better in certain instances. And that really opened up the door for them to start getting into the workforce and the work world. And that was great. But they were faced with the reality that there were a lot of things that they can't do that men can't do.
Like what?
To give you an example. I've had multiple jobs. I think one of the last jobs that I really worked for seriously was a moving company. I worked for a couple moving companies, but we'll just go ahead and use this one. This company based out of Middle Georgia, and it was me and about 7, 8 other guys regularly. Occasionally we pick up somebody, we lose somebody. The company was run by a woman, and she never did any of the lifting. She never did any of the organization. All she did was sit there and scream. She was a pretty decent manager with time and everything. There's one day she brought in a girl to work because the girl needed money and it was whatever. None of us really cared. Didn't matter if she was a girl. We were just happy to have another set of hands for this big job that day. Well, when it came crunch time, she wasn't able to quote unquote, in my opinion, pull her weight. She couldn't help me lift couches up and down 5 flights of stairs. She couldn't really do much with the heavy boxes. She couldn't move the toolboxes. She couldn't really do much of that. She could only carry the light things, the linens. She could only carry 1, maybe 2 boxes at a time if it was light and medium weight, whereas opposed to the guys were muscling out 3, 4 heavy boxes at a time. It wasn't practical. She wasn't built physically for that kind of work. And when it came down to the paycheck, and she didn't get as much money as the rest of us, she was all sore and upset about that, which is kind of understandable, but at the same time, she didn't do the same amount of work to where every 3 boxes I moved, she probably moved half a box to 1 box. Where I'm doing 3 times as much work, I didn't get 3 times as much money. I got maybe like $10, $20 more than her at the time, but that was for 7 hours of work. I feel, I did 3 times the work. I wasn't asking for 3 times the money. So I don't understand why these people are doing half the work asking for the same amount, if not more money. Does that make sense?
It makes sense to me in the fact that, it's scientifically proven that men were built to be more physically stronger than women. There are some things that women can do that men can't do. Like, for example,
Yeah, like give birth.
Yeah, give birth. My woman can run a freaking business. If I tried to do that, I'd probably fail. Everybody would be poisoned because I would, But I understand exactly where you're coming from. With the physicality and the labor and everything like that. Sometimes, you have the sense like you were talking about, how you had a woman trying to help you, but she just couldn't do it. But then sometimes you have guys out there that just don't know what work is, and they're like extremely weak, and you have women, surpass them, kind of like Miss Olympia and stuff like that, But I understand exactly where you're coming from. I really do, man. Let's see. I kind of think we're like dry right now. Go ahead and give us some topics. I'm going to let you lead this, and we're going to talk about whatever you can think of, man.
Well, we can talk about school and education.
Yeah, let's do it.
That was a hot topic.
Go ahead, man. Let's talk about school and education, bro.
Well, see, I believe a lot of your audience is in the lower to middle education, talking elementary to junior high, maybe high school. But we could talk about upper-level education, such as college, because they're going to be faced with that sometime in the next 10, 15 years. Give them some heads up of things they need to know.
Well, I'm pretty sure that would be good, because a lot of the audience that may be listening is they're in the, like as you said, so go ahead and give them a heads up. Tell them what they need to do to prepare for college if they wish to go to college, and tell them how just to become successful. Some plans like that. Certain things they need to do to enjoy life, if you will.
Well, here's the thing about college. Grades matter, but grades and academics don't matter until you get to high school. I don't care what anyone says. The only people that matters to are parents, unless you're trying to go to a private institution for high school, or you're in a really competitive program to get into a high school, or you want to be a member of the beta club or any of that type of stuff. Grades don't matter until you get to high school. They're not on your transcript. Colleges don't care what you made in your 6th, 7th grade math class. Disciplinary actions don't count until 8th grade, unless it's a felony offense. But your record gets sealed when you're 18, and they have to go through a whole court order to unseal them. A lot of places aren't going to go through that unless, of course, you brought like a gun to school or something. It's not that serious. No one's going to care if you picked on one kid or, you gave some guy who was bullying you a swirly. It's not a big deal. But something that I wish I had done in high school a lot more was sit down, focus, study, and get my grades right. Where I was by no means a slouch in high school. I played my cards right, so that by my senior year, I was able to take 3 auto techs, which is, working on cars in school. I was able to do that 3 times a day. I had weight training. I had a team sports, which is just like playing basketball and baseball in the gym for an hour. And then the only real classes I had was a math and a literature and a psychology for my first semester. And then my second semester, it was math and literature just with the sociology. So we were taking about 9 classes a day when I was in high school. But high school wasn't hard necessarily for me, but I do wish that I'd sat down and studied a lot more. I definitely let sports and video games and just hanging out with friends take precedence over almost everything.
I think that's that would be the sense with everyone, actually. I know that's the same with me, Even though when I was in high school, I did what I was supposed to do, but I feel as if, if I would have listened more, I could have gotten more into my brain than I actually did. Even though my brain was piled full of crap, a lot of this stuff that I learned was like completely useless, in my opinion. I don't need to know calculus or anything right now. I don't, but we had to learn that. You can't argue with them, because if you don't do it, you're not going to get the passing grade you need to.
Yeah, Exactly.
Most of the stuff they teach you in school is just complete crap. That's why whenever these people, these kids talk about how they hate school and stuff, I can understand where they're coming from, but at the same time, it's good for you. I mean, you can hate school and you don't have to go, but you're not going to get anywhere if you don't go. School is a good thing. Um, it's a really good thing. So if you're thinking about, like, just saying screw school and leaving, don't. Just don't. You know.
Right. Now,
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys. The mic did cut out because the controller cut off. So man, he just said a whole bunch of stuff that's useful, but the mic was out. Dang it. Anyway, he's basically talking about how school is good. He had so much to do. He said that he had to go to school and then go to wrestling, track, and everything else, but he still had time to play video games. All right, so that leads me to my next topic of discussion. Making time to do things that you want or need to do to better yourself or to just enjoy life. All right? Now, let's say you have a full-time job such as me. All right? Sometimes it's hard to find time to do things that you need or want to do, but it's still possible to do. Every now and then it's good to just take a break and enjoy time with the person that you're with or with the loved ones or family and so on and so forth. All right, Pablo, if you could tell the people listening how they could possibly just, I don't know, make time to do things that they want to do just to enjoy life, man. Because sometimes it's hard. You know that, I know that, everyone knows that. Just go ahead and tell them, man. Just give them some advice so they can know.
well, in my opinion, don't make a career out of a hobby. And that was something that I was forced to realize, where when I was fresh out of high school, I was thinking, oh, I'm going to become a mechanic, work on diesel, be a diesel tech, make $45,000 to $50,000 a year starting out of high school, thinking that was good money. Well, that wasn't an option that was presented to me by my family and my parents. Now, you can do anything you want if you're backing yourself, but if you're relying on other people, for a place to live or funding, it's not. You can't say it's my life, I can do whatever I want. You're right, it is your life, and you should be able to do what you want. But if you're relying on other people to help you through that, they're going to have some sort of say in what's going on. So that was a big disappointment for me. I just wanted to, I go to school, be a mechanic, whatever. But then I got forced with, oh, you got to go to college. You have to get a degree in this field or this field. And to me, it was just pretty unenjoyable, very uneventful. I found a career that I was pretty passionate about in school. I always liked working out. Always been a pretty big guy. Thought I'd try, exercise science and dual that with the biology. But it took all the fun out of exercising, lifting weights, helping people dieting, nutrition-wise. It took all the fun out of that and just turned it into something I have a genuine distaste for nowadays. When it used to be my passion, I used to love to do it as a hobby. Now, I don't like it. Same thing with chemistry. I used to love chemistry in high school, being able to, mix chemicals, what creates this, you add this and this, alchemy-wise, how is this going to affect you? And then in college, you're just forced to do it constantly. You just grow to hate it.
And, that's why I think a lot of people just decide to quit college, even though they've made it the entire 12 years in high school and then go to college. It's because, as you said, they were forced to do it. I mean, if you think about it, yeah, you're forced to do it, but it leads to a really good career after. But, I mean, I can understand the sense in hating it because you're forced to do it. You know what I mean? If you're forced to do anything, you're going to hate it. The best thing to do to enjoy it is to just, do it when you want to. You know what I mean? It's like with me. Let's go, for example, and say a YouTuber. If a YouTuber is forced to play a specific game because his viewers want to see him play that game or her play that game, they're going to not like it. Okay, that's why I stopped playing Minecraft and I went to Black Ops, because I was like, you know what, let's just do something different. And then when I played Minecraft earlier with the mini games, I was like, hey, this is really fun because I haven't done this before, mini games wise, and I haven't played Minecraft in a while. That goes with the same thing with everyone and everything else. Okay, Pablo, give me an example of something besides weightlifting or anything that you did in the past, something else that you enjoyed doing, that you were forced to do, that you no longer ever want to do your entire life, but might have to.
That's a pretty good one. Let's see. Oh, here's one. I used to love physical labor. I used to love it with a passion. Growing up as a kid, I always had your chores. I was presented with the opportunity. I could, stay inside and clean the house or go outside and do the yard. I take that yard work up in a heartbeat, just because I prefer to be outside in the heat, working with my hands, doing something that I could, use my body for, some fresh air, feel the sun on your skin. It was a great feeling. It was euphoric for a long time until, I picked that up as a full-time job as a landscaper. And, it's fun for a while. Waking up at 5 a.m., you're like, yeah, I'm going to go make this money. I'm going to do something I love. Until you're sitting in that Bobcat and you're digging those holes, you're leveling out all these hills. And operating heavy machinery is fun for the first couple times you do it, but after a while it gets repetitive. And now I don't enjoy doing landscape anymore. I don't like putting out sod. I don't like digging holes. I don't like installing sprinkler systems, any of that. And it's not that, my back hurts or anything, which it's not like, I'm just too feeble to do this anymore. It's just I don't feel like doing this anymore. And to me, it's not, my time is worth more than me doing it myself, so I'll pay somebody else to do it for me. Like gardening and lawns. I'll pay somebody to mow my lawn. If I wasn't living in an apartment complex where it's done for me, I would pay somebody to do it because I think my time is worth more than that.
Exactly. And I mean, life is too short to be stuck on one thing that you're not going to enjoy. So all right, for the people watching right now, people listening, if you can't see, if you're blind, I don't know if I have any blind viewers. Guys, do things.
There wouldn't be viewers, I'd be listeners.
Yeah, viewers/listeners, same thing. Pablo, you smartass. Guys, gals, ravers, do something you enjoy doing. All right, don't do something you feel like you have to do. Trust me, it's not worth it if you feel like you have to do it. Which leads me to my next topic. Pablo, Magikarp made a statement in the chat earlier. And let me go back to the statement and let me read it. Let's see. I'm going to be a YouTuber as a career when I'm older. All right, let's talk about the pros and cons of being a YouTuber. All right.
That won't work.
I mean, you said it won't work?
No.
Why do you think it won't work?
YouTube's going to be gone in the next 6 years, I promise you.
Whoa, okay, let's talk about why do you think that?
I think YouTube is at its half-life.
You think it's at its hassle. Okay, so what do you think is going to take over YouTube? You think something's going to surpass it?
I don't think something's going to surpass it necessarily, but YouTube started in 2005. What are we in right now? 2017, right?
Yeah.
All right, that was 12 years. That's that's longer than most websites live for their, what I'm going to call it, the prime, except for things like Google, Yahoo. Bing's already dying out, and Yahoo's been, slowly bleeding out for a while. Think of it like the whole MySpace and Facebook. No, Facebook didn't surpass it. It took away everything MySpace had. It was an improved version. Now, YouTube it's kind of doing that to itself by demonetizing a lot of videos. I don't know if you've been affected by that personally or what.
Well, yeah.
Where you're not allowed, they're monetizing, you're not allowed to say things, they're monitoring what you're doing. They're taking away a lot of the freedom of the artist. If you want to get philosophical with it, everything's art. These videos are art. You can't censor an artist. It's just not how it works. Basically, people are going to get mad and go to a different platform. Now, with YouTube Red, they're not censoring them like they're censoring you on YouTube Free. There's no ads, any of this stuff. It's just YouTube won't be around for much longer. So to say you're going to make a career out of something that won't physically be there, I'm not going to say it's ridiculous. It's not practical.
You raise a really good point, and I have to say, yes, I have been affected by the unmonetization of the videos, and that has been just a pain in the ass right there, With this podcast, I can't go all out and say exactly what I want to. It's still not a mature podcast, but it is late night, so there are a few things that I can say. I might get a few ads taken off. It might be unmonetized, but that just goes back to what we were just talking about now. With the whole YouTube thing, I can kind of see what you mean about it would be hard, because it's really hard to grow. It's hard to gain subs. I see that right now. I've been stuck on almost 500 subs for a long time. And it doesn't help that I took a 5-month break, but things happen. You just got to get up, wipe the dirt off, and keep going. There are indeed other platforms. And you were talking about Facebook. Facebook came out in 2004. When Mark Zuckerberg and the other people wrote the coding when they were drunk in college. And it's crazy how long it's going on. You can go live on Facebook. You get paid more on Facebook than YouTube because of the ads and just the platform it's on, You have Daily Motion, you have Twitch. I've tried to stream on Twitch, but I've had really just a low amount of luck on that. I enjoy doing YouTube because it's just easier to use. It's more fun to use, in my opinion. And I say it's more fun to use simply because I haven't streamed on Twitch enough or any other platform enough to be able to see how much fun it can be. And yes, YouTube can be Nazis. They enjoy censoring everyone. And you raise a really good point at saying you can't censor an artist, because that's like me trying to draw a picture, but you take away my pencil lead. How can a picture be drawn with no lead? And whenever YouTube started the unmonetization and the censorship, I was like, what the hell? My first thought, way to go, John Kerry. You're on YouTube now censoring us. Because John Kerry is the person that created the censorship on CDs when CDs first came out. If you see parental advisory on the CD, thank John Kerry for that. It's his fault. So, and I was thinking...
Hold on.
Okay.
Flashinator, Magikarp saying YouTube better not go. Everything I'm doing right now for my channel is completely useless. Let's go ahead and touch on this. It's not going to be completely useless. I personally don't do, YouTube or anything like that. I'm not a streamer. I don't make my living off that. But this is true for anything you do in life. Nothing is useless. You get a learning experience from absolutely everything. So even if YouTube does go down, you're going to be able to take the knowledge that you got from YouTube of your streaming, your fan base, and all this, and you'll be able to move it to a different platform, such as Twitch TV, Facebook Live, Instagram Live, or any other type of, viewing source that, will rival YouTube eventually. So what you're doing isn't useless. Think of it as practice.
It's very true, and for some YouTubers, of course it's more than practice. It's a profession for them, It's what they do. It's their full-time job. But you have some channels out there. I'm going to go ahead and quote this. Epic Mealtime. Let's talk about Epic Mealtime. Have you ever watched
God.
Epic? Yeah. In 2009, 2010, Epic Mealtime was just huge. They were getting millions of views. If you watch them now,
the last time I actually watched Epic Mealtime was 2009.
yeah, man. I mean, if you watch them now, Epic Mealtime is just getting terrible views. And that's not because it's crap. It's because they've run out of good ideas. I mean, it's always the same thing. It's a cooking show, you know. It's not bad, you know. I like Epic Mealtime, but they're losing their fame, you know. And it's simply because with YouTube you rely on the fans. If you can't please the fans, if you can't do something different or something they want you to do, you're gonna lose the views. You're gonna lose everything. You know, that takes me to my next thing. You have Daily Motion. You have Twitch. You can now go live on Twitter. You've been able to do that for a while. I'm not sure how long. You can go live, as I said, on Facebook. StreamMe.com. I learned about that from Keemstar. Hold on, the microphone went out again.
God, I mean, I'm not a YouTuber, but I'm a U-porner.
Oh man. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Every time the controller turns off, the microphone switches to the headset, so I had to go back in and change that back to the Logitech microphone. Anyway, what we were talking about, you know.
There's something covering your face on your stream, by the way.
Say what?
There's a black box. There's a black box covering your face on the stream.
A black box?
I went away. Never mind.
Okay. I mean, back to what we were talking about, you know. I mean, enjoy YouTube while you can, you know. I mean, if you want it to be a career, work on it. You know, I don't know when YouTube is going to die out. No one does. Yeah, there are other platforms, but as Pablo said, use YouTube as just a ladder to step up to more progression. You know, you never know what's going to be after YouTube. So it's just a good learning process, and it pays really well as long as you just stick with it. Don't give up on it. If you want to be a YouTuber, if you want that to be your career and you're really young right now, go for it. Let that be what you want to do. Follow your dreams. If YouTube is your dream, then do it. You know? Let's see what we got here. I need to say hello to everyone in the chat because I have not been doing that. Pablo, do you want to say hi to the people in the chat? We're live right now on the E Proxy podcast with Pablo. He's in the chat a few times. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen him. Pablo, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right, we're going to take a quick break right now. We're going to go ahead and... All right, guys, this podcast is sponsored by, not really, but G Fuel. If you've never tried G Fuel before... Go ahead and try G Fuel. Go to gfuel.com. 17 flavors. 17 unique flavors. Also, guys, if you haven't got one of these, I don't know why you haven't, get yourself a fidget spinner. Fidget spinners are awesome. All right.
Oh, we're fighting.
Say what? What'd you say, Pablo?
We are fighting.
Fighting?
Over here promoting fidget spinners.
Hey, I can't help it. I enjoy fidget spinners. I'm going to say hello to everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat, welcome to the podcast. Welcome. If there's anyone in the chat that wants to hear about a topic of discussion, go ahead, bring that up. We will talk about it. We got John, we got Bailey, we got Magikarp. Hello, we got Sacrifice. All the normals in the chat. Oh, man. So do you have anything to say on the topic while we're waiting on another topic to come in, Pablo? Anything that we just talked about? I'm pretty sure the viewers want to hear about it. I know I want to hear about it. You have input that I enjoy hearing about, so let's go ahead and hear that, man.
All right, input about what?
Anything, man. Let me hear, but go ahead and talk about what we were just talking about.
Oh, about how YouTube slowly on its way out is dying.
Okay, no, speaking of slowly on the way to dying, what do you think the next big platform is going to be, and why?
Let's see. Well, Snapchat's already a thing. Instagram's already a thing. The next big, platform totally, I think, is going to be something meme-related. It's probably going to be a website of straight anonymous about memes, where you're just gonna post messed up memes, things like that. It's gonna be like a mix of Yik Yak and Instagram before Yik Yak, got rid of itself and nobody was allowed to be anonymous anymore. It's either gonna be like that or it's gonna be another video streaming service where people are gonna get fed up with how YouTube's running, and they're gonna turn it into what YouTube used to be, and they're gonna run solely off donations, similar to Wikipedia. Oh, and to answer your question, Magikarp, of why the world is dying, the world's not dying, it's just evolving.
Okay, go ahead and
rate than what we're used to.
Explain to her what you mean about how it's evolving and not dying. Because I was just about to bring that up, but go ahead and explain that to her, man. Explain to everyone.
Well, the world's not dying physically. The world won't die until the sun explodes and it physically gets rid of the world. Energy and matter cannot physically be destroyed. They can only be changed. So you can't create or destroy energy. You can only change the form that it's in. So if I were to sit down and eat a giant bowl of salad, the salad physically won't be there, but the matter that made up the salad is in my digestive system, along with the energy. The energy got transferred from the salad to me, so the energy's still there. So to say things die it's a concept. Death is a concept of human construction, where you got living and dying. Energy's still there. Energy fills you and allows you to, quote unquote, live and die. When you think of living and dying, there's physical interactions and chemical processes, electrical processes that run throughout the brain. Machines don't die. Machines break down and they deteriorate. So you can think of the body as a machine. And you can think of the brain as the power source. Now, when the power source runs out of power to give, the machine doesn't move anymore. So that's kind of what you think of as dying. And if you think of society as dying, it's not dying, it's just changing. Now, granted, society is cancer because it's got cancerous people living in it that offer absolutely nothing to it. But there's absolutely nothing you can do about that. It's just the way the world works. Everything changes. It's been that way throughout history. That's why we're not all running around in togas, carrying swords, raising goats and cattle.
That's how it used to be, though. That's how it used to be. Okay, so I reading a comment here from my buddy John, and he says, speaking of evolving, that's what YouTube is doing right now. And after reading that, I can actually go to a sense of seeing how YouTube is evolving, but I'm not really necessarily sure of how John's definition of evolving is. Let me hear what you would say about how YouTube is evolving, Pablo. Let me hear what you say about that, man. What you have to say about that.
Let me just are you a big Pokemon fan?
Big Pokemon fan? Used to be.
You used to be, okay. So what would you say? You quit around the first 150 or the Diamond and Pearl 494?
Wow, what?
Well, what was the last Pokemon game you physically played?
The last one I played, the remake of Alpha Sapphire.
Okay.
Or so Sapphire, something like that.
Okay, so it was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire.
Yeah.
All right. Let me go ahead and just think of a Pokemon that didn't need, an evolution. I'll just say it that way. It was fine on its own. Think of it like a Pokemon, right?
Yeah.
What was your favorite Pokemon?
God, now I have to think about this. I would have to say Diancie.
Who?
Diancie. I'd have to say Diancie.
Oh, the elephant.
Huh?
The elephant? Diancie?
No, Diancie was the gym rock fairy Pokemon.
Oh, I quit playing before that.
Oh, okay.
I'll forget this. It's just we're going to talk about Mega Evolutions and all that, all right?
Okay, hold on. If I go back to the original, I'm going to have to say my favorite is Charizard. I'm pretty sure everyone can agree with that.
That's perfect. We can relate this to Charizard. All right, well, the newer games, I believe they have this thing called Mega Evolution.
Yeah.
Where in the middle of a battle, you can evolve Charizard into, a black dragon with blue flames, or Charizard with, I'm just going to call it deer horns, antlers. All right? Now, Charizard stat-wise was he was fine beforehand. Before they did that, he was fine meta-wise, all right? Now, he didn't need the stat boosts or anything like that. He didn't need the evolution to continue to be the powerhouse that Charizard is that we all know and love, right?
Yeah.
YouTube's the same way. It doesn't need to evolve in the direction it's going.
Okay, but...
Now, evolution is just a series of adaptations over generations that help things adapt to their current environment. That's what evolution is. It's a series of adaptations over span of a generation.
Okay, but, I mean, if we're going to compare YouTube to Pokemon, let's go ahead and talk about how we have Pokemon Moon and Sun. Pokemon Moon and Sun, they're just add-ons to keep the series going. Let's go ahead and talk about YouTube. With that sense, you have YouTube and so many streamers and so many artists coming in, creating videos and streaming live to keep the platform going. And, I mean, I think that might help it make more money because they're bringing in more ads to let more people watch it. Of course, you have guys like PewDiePie, Markiplier, so on and so forth that, they've been here for a while and they're already famous. But you still have, the new people. It's just like on, Pokemon Pokemon Mun and Sun and Moon. They're bringing in new Pokemon that look like fake Power Rangers words that when I first saw it, I was like, this is the most retarded thing I've ever seen. This is crap. Screw this. That's what I thought. There are some people out there that put stuff on YouTube. I'm like, screw this. But then there are some people that are like, holy shiz. I think to myself, there are some people that should have been on YouTube a while ago. I think to myself, why weren't these people on YouTube years ago? Why did they wait until recently to come to YouTube? Because of the content they're putting on there. And it's just crazy how you can actually compare it to Pokemon. But I think Pokemon's going to keep going, even though, it doesn't really necessarily have to. Even if they stop bringing out new Pokemon, they're going to try to find ways to bring back the old Pokemon, such as they did in the previous games with Mega Evolutions, just like we were previously talking about. And I don't know, they're just going to keep making it better. Same thing with YouTube. They're going to be just people that keep coming on. Then again, there could be that one person that inspires everyone to go to a different platform. You never know how YouTube is going to go, And it's just crazy because it's just a big gamble every single day. And for the people that are everything is a gamble. You're right about that. For the people that are successful on YouTube, don't stop. Keep doing it. You're doing a good job. Seriously. Just like, my buddy John and Rick. They're doing a great job, and I hope they keep doing it. Seriously, man. It's crazy. Let me go ahead and check up on these comments here. Let's see. John says YouTube is in a power struggle right now. First they have their entertainers, us. Then they have their advisors. Oh, the advertiser, not advisor. Sorry about that, John. The advertisers hate their ads on channels that don't meet their criteria. You're right about that. So they try and bully YouTube and threaten to walk away unless they have 100% control. Again, you're right about that. Let's talk about these freaking advertisers. The advertisers want you to at least have 1 billion views so a lot of people can see it, and they want you to do what they want you to do. They want you to say what they want you to say, and if you don't, then they're not going to be put on. We can't control the ads that we want on our videos. We can only have ads that YouTube and the advertisers want to put on our videos. I can't go right now and say I want that specific ad on my live stream. It's not going to happen. I can't have an ad for UFC on my podcast simply because I don't have control of that. What do you think about these advertisers? Let me hear what you think about ads and all that other crap on YouTube. I'm not going to say crap because the ads bring in the revenue and, they pay us and everything like that. Tell me what you think about it. I'm pretty sure the viewers want to hear about it too, Pablo.
Well, like you were saying earlier, money makes the world go round. And the only way that YouTube is going to 100% get rid of these ads, which is never going to happen, it's full fantasy, is if people start paying for YouTube. And I think they're trying that out right now with
YouTube Red. Yeah.
They're experimenting. I think that's exactly what YouTube Red is. It's just an experiment. So, depending on how that goes, is going to depend on whether or not the YouTube we know used to love is going to stay around. So if YouTube Red takes off and it does wondrous things, that's why they're pouring so much time and money into it, and they're trying to get their big YouTubers into it to go to YouTube Red to bring that fan base with them. That's why they're catering to it so much more than they are just regular old free YouTube. They're trying to save it from the advertising companies. But if this doesn't work out, it's going to be like the one last hoorah from, like Braveheart trying to, in that sense. So it's all going to depend on how YouTube Red works.
And you're right about that. Hold on one second. John says he has a theory. I want to hear what his theory is, but while I'm waiting on his theory, I'm going to talk about this. This YouTube Red thing is just, it's intrigued me. You're right about that. YouTube Red is trying to get rid of the ads. They're trying to drag in the big YouTubers. But here's the thing. Whenever someone starts out on YouTube, they're automatically going to go to YouTube, not YouTube Red. Like, for example, when I started on YouTube, I'm not sure if YouTube Red was around then. It was back last August.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to try YouTube. And when you first think of, I'm going to try to get into live streaming and try to put videos on YouTube, you don't think YouTube Red simply because you want those ads. As a beginning streamer or uploader, you want to get those ads because those ads create revenue. And when the people see the ads on your channel,
so are you a sellout, Proxy?
So what?
I said, so are you a sellout?
Am I a sellout? Well, it depends on how much I'm getting paid. Hey, I honestly don't care. All right, take care of yourself, Magic Card. Thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to leave a like, and I'll see you next time. Anyway, the ads create the revenue. I want ads on my videos. I don't care, Now, I can see why they bring the big YouTubers, over to YouTube Red, simply because they have enough revenue and a big enough fan base. They don't have to worry about that, even though the big YouTubers still rely on those ads. They really do. If the big YouTubers didn't have ads, the revenue would be just cut, and it would hurt them so bad. They wouldn't make the millions that they're making now,
Right.
You go back into this. But I mean, eventually one day I may start going to YouTube Red, but I don't know. I'm going to stay on YouTube right now and try to get these ads in. Let's read this. In the near future, YouTube will drop all ads. They will pay YouTubers, but you will have to have a pretty high sub count to get paid. It will no longer be ad-based, but simply how big your channel is. You will get paid, but it will be sub-based. 100,000 subs get X amount, 200,000 subs get X amount, etc. You know what? I completely agree with that. And I think right now it's going off the sub base anyway, not as much as it's going to in the future. The sub base right now, it's like, okay, they're going off the sub base simply because the more subs you have, the more people are going to see the ads they're going to put on your videos. But eventually, when you have a bigger sub base, it's going to be more people watching you on YouTube Red. Right now, if I go over to YouTube Red and try to do anything, I'm not going to have any success because I have a low amount of subscribers. But when I get to 100,000, 200,000, a million, and so on and so forth, I'll have more success. So I can see that. Now, the question is, will you get paid more from YouTube on YouTube Red, or will you get paid more just doing YouTube with ads? Think about how much the advertisers pay YouTube, too. And think about what the percentage of YouTube is going to pay you from the ads from being on YouTube Red. Is it really worth it, or is it not? What do you think about that, Pablo?
I agree with Artesian Craft here. I think it's just going to happen.
Yeah, I agree too. But the old saying, go along with it, enjoy the ride until it happens.
Yeah.
If you
Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly, we're almost out of time here, but I'm going to go ahead and say this. If you don't enjoy it, if you're just stressed that, oh no, YouTube is going to end, what do I do? You're just not going to enjoy it. Get a job.
Yeah, you want to join. Get a real job.
Oh man, see, all right, that's something else I got to touch up on. That's something else I got to touch up on. When people say, it's like old Artesian, aka John, was talking about where people would come into his streams and say, get a real job, or they would comment on his videos and say, get a real job. And the people that make YouTube a career, that is their real job. That is a job. That's a full-time job, and they're getting paid a lot. Does it take a while to be able to reach that potential to make that much money? Oh yeah. Does it take dedication and time? Oh yeah. you're going to have to shut yourself off completely. You're going to have to disregard the world. You're going to have to focus on this little box right. Say what?
You have to eat some deodorant.
Yeah, you're going to have to eat some deodorant just like I just like I did in the previous video. You're going to have to focus on this camera. You're going to have to focus on this microphone. You're going to have to just work on it, you know? You're going to have to lose, like... I'm pretty sure you don't have to lose your social life, but if you want to be famous and if you want to be able to make it big on YouTube, you have to focus on that. Seriously, treat it like a full-time job. Before I started streaming, the guy that I watched stream, X-Men TV, was making it a full-time job. I made it a schedule. It was 7 days a week. That's what I started doing, and it was successful. If you want to make it on YouTube, show dedication. Don't say, I guess I'll do this now, and I guess I'll do another video in like 3 weeks. Yeah, you can do that if you want to, but you won't make it anywhere. YouTube is a full-time job if you want it to be a full-time job. Don't disregard it. Don't toss it down the drain. All right? Love it. YouTube is your lover. If you don't treat it like your lover, you won't make success.
You gotta wear the rubber.
Oh, man. RT, he said, triggered! LOL, kidding. Triggered. Let's see. Proxy identifies as someone with... Oh, Pablo.
I don't know who this Pablo Iglesias is, but I'm loving him. He sounds like a real troll.
So you don't know who Pablo is?
No idea.
Oh, man. But yeah, I mean...
Must be another guy named Pablo.
Yeah, okay, whatever. Oh, but yeah, John, it's like, John and Rick will get up there and they'll put their dedication and time in, and they'll do, like he said in the chat, 10 hours a day. You know, if you do 10 hours a day, every day, you're going to make big success. Trust me. For anyone wanting to be a YouTuber, do that. Dedicate yourself to it. Because if you don't show dedication, you won't be able to make it far. You know, that's what it's all about. The big D. Dedication. Bailey says Pablo is the best troll.
Bailey is not wrong. I wish I could make a career out of trolling.
Welcome back, Sacrifice. Oh, man. If you guys are enjoying this podcast, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't. I will subscribe back to you. Just like always. You know the dealio. Let's see. I wonder how much time we have left. We're actually out of time. We've been doing this for an hour and 1 minute. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Oh, God, someone's blowing up your thing again. I think it's Bailey or Sacrifice. I think you should read them out loud.
Let's see. Pablo, my name is Rick, and this is my pawn shop. Work here with my old man and my son, E Proxy. I'm not your son, Pablo. Bailey says you should kick your son out. If there's one thing I've learned in 25 years of trolling, you never know what is going to come through that server. Oh, that's great. That's great. Ravers, this is the end of the podcast. Take care of yourself. See you next time.
We'll wait past that point.
Say what?
Hello?
Like, subscribe, all that jazz. See you next time.